Hey guys, welcome to the Dragon's Voice podcast. I am your host, truly Reece Deans, and today I've got a very special guest here on the phone, and it's going to be an audio recording this time, not going to be Skype or Zoom or anything like that, which is brilliant because I love doing audio recordings and stuff like that. He is a former Wales international who made his debut under Bobby Gould's Wales. He's also made a name for himself for Hereford United, helping the club out, whether they were Hereford United or Hereford FC. He's none other than Ryan Green. Ryan, how's it going, pal?
Yeah, thanks for having me, mate. Yeah, all good. Glad the lockdown's easing off a little bit now, so get out and about and start seeing people again, so brilliant.
Yeah, I'm happy that you're doing well, and you're a proper gym goer. I've seen as well. How's it? Are you big? Are you big gutted that the gyms are still closed, or you improvising at home?
Yeah, distraught, mate. Absolutely distraught. I try and do the home workouts, but I can't really get going, to be honest, mate. So I need a proper gym, proper equipment to do what I really want to do. So I'm really looking forward to the gym to start back up.
Yeah,
Can't wait to.
I work at DW Sports to do, and luckily I work at the one in Leckwith and
Okay, yeah.
the gym downstairs. So I normally see some of the Barry lads. So normally see sometimes Clayton, your brother Clayton, or I normally sometimes see Jordan and all them lot. You know, just having a go at the gym, and sometimes I try doing it with them, and then I just can't. I can't do it. I'm not as energetic as them. You know.
Yeah, it's a bit loud to be fair. But yeah, they say they go there. I see them quite often, and yeah, it's a good gym, DW in Leckwith. Plenty of equipment, and yeah, I was a member there for 1 year. It's a decent gym. Yeah.
I thought we get down to it then, because you know you've had a brilliant history of football, Ryan. You know, when you first started with Wolverhampton Wanderers, how did that come about then? How did that career path for you started when you went to Wolves, etc.?
Yeah, so Wolves, I was playing for Cardiff Schoolboys at the time. We had a decent team then. A couple of us went on to make, Leon Jean, you know, he kind of made a few professional games, myself and a few others. Yeah, so playing Cardiff Schoolboys, Wolverhampton Wanderers Scout come along, a few others, Norwich, Crystal Palace, Nottingham Forest, and I went up to all of them, but Wolves was the one that stood out for me. Fantastic club, and it still is now. Still the way they look after young people there, fantastic, yeah. So, you know, Wolves probably the best I've been to in my career, from youth upwards. It was a brilliant club, and I'm glad it's doing so well now. And you know, the class is one of the top teams now in the Premier League.
I know it's brilliant to see Wolves. You know, throughout the years, you know, from when I was growing up, you know, I always thought as Wales, I mean, no disrespect to them, I thought they were very average, and then all of a sudden, I think when they got relegated, was it to League One or something? But then all of a sudden, they just shot back up, and you know, doing so well in the Premier League, and they were competing in European football. I thought, is this the same Wolves that, you know, 5-6 years ago you can try try and beat them, you know, in a decent game? But it's just brilliant to see Wolves, you know, doing so well now, and
Yeah.
it's amazing though, not just Wolves, but you got the likes of Sheffield United. And other clubs, you know, they're doing so well in the Premier League that you don't know exactly what's going to happen in the future, because you may get more competitors going for the title now.
Exactly, yeah. Well, Sheffield United were odds-on favourites to get relegated, and now look at them.
I know.
You know, they got for Europe, so brilliant. Well, they've done a fantastic job there. Credit to him. You know, he's got a different philosophy. He gets his players really fit, and you can see how well he's done there. I'm sure he could get a big job coming up soon.
So let's start off with Wales then. You get a call up in 1998, and at the time, you know, you're just about going into the Wolves squad, and then you get a call up for Bobby Gould's Wales. How did you feel when Bobby Gould just gave you a call out of the blue and just said, "Do you want to play for Wales?"
Yeah, well, basically, I played for Wales in the 18s. Got a call up for the Wales in the 21s team, which Bob was involved in at the time. He came to watch, and he did a little bit of coaching stuff. So I had a really good game there against Italy. And then next year, I know, I read in the newspaper before I found out myself. I was going to get called up, and yeah, it came true. It was unreal, and I fantastic experience for such a young lad. And yeah, never forgotten.
Nah, it's never forgotten. You never forget, your experience playing for Wales and everything. But when you were under Bobby Gould,
Yeah.
was you what was the experience like in the change rooms? Because as a fan myself, you read about or you look up all the research, the stories of Bobby Gould, how quote unquote controversial he was, or when he was Wales manager because of the amount of the players that he didn't get along with, or he tried to bring some aspects of what you call the crazy gang Wimbledon environment into the squad, or whatever you want to, you know more better than me because you played under him. But what was it like to have, that sort of environment for Bobby Gould, to have the relationship with the players, especially those such as Gary Speed, Gary Speed and all them
Mark
lot?
Hughes and Savage, yeah. First of all, I thought they got on, to be honest. We got their arguments after 2 years of game, but you normally do, because I think we lost 3-0 or 3-1 or something, so there were a few arguments after that game. But apart from that, I think everyone got on, but, most people argue after a big defeat like that. So I think they got on fine, but I was only there for 2 games, and that was a short tour, end of season, no big pressure. So what I've seen of it was fine.
You had a record.
Everyone got on.
Yeah, you broke a record as well, being the youngest player, which beats Ryan Giggs. And I don't want to sound controversial or anything, but when you beat that record, right? And probably later on down in the years, when I read the Ryan Giggs autobiography, and I heard he accused Bobby Gould of calling it like a publicity stunt. Did you feel at the time, well, hang on a minute, he just called me up. I'm a young player, young talent, and I'm just coming in to do a job. But did you feel taken back, or was you just like, nah, it doesn't matter. Don't care what Ryan Giggs said,
Nah, to be honest, back then I had huge potential. I don't understand why Bobby Gould. It wasn't a European Championship game or World Cup game. It was an end of season game. There's two good blood players in, so I thought, yeah, why not? Because of me, Craig Bellamy, and I think Simon Howard, like debuts, and why not bring some young lads through? I've been coming lads. So I think Bobby Gould made the right decision there. If it was for a European Championship game, World Cup qualifier, then I can understand. But I think Bobby Gould made the right choice there. And I'm sure Ryan Giggs has done that, will do that in the future. End of season tours, we'll give a few young up-and-coming lads a chance. And see if they blossom from there.
So going on, after 1998, where you played 2 games for Wales, brilliant achievement. You made a couple of first-team appearances for Wolves. After your time at Wolves, there was when I was doing my research, I see there was like a slight little, you were bouncing to different clubs. You were going to Torquay at one point, then you went to Cardiff, then you went to. I know these are not in order, but it's like Millwall, Sheffield Wednesday. How did it feel for you to be bouncing to those clubs? Did you feel like you weren't going to position yourself, fit in with some of the clubs because of the amount of moves you're making, or did you feel like this was a learning curve for you as a footballer?
First of all, yeah, it was a learning curve, but I put it down to myself, to be honest. I had the potential, but I did the wrong things. I was too busy going partying, drinking, chasing women. All the things you shouldn't really be doing when you're football. You should just concentrate on football, but I was doing both, to be honest. So I put it down to myself. So then, what was it? So Wolves, Millwall, season at Millwall. Then Wales got the playoffs there. I was always a squad player in the Championship, so I think the drop down to Hereford after I left Sheffield Wednesday was really good for me, because obviously the wages were, I took like a 75% increase in wages, so that put me down to earth, to be honest. So I think that was needed.
But
the grass ain't as green as the other side of it, so that Hereford was blessing in disguise for me.
But with Hereford, you go on to make a name for yourself. I mean, I got a friend of mine. I went to university with my mate Gareth Elliott, and he's a big Hereford United fan. And I messaged him saying, I'm getting Ryan Green on the show. And he said, right, ask about the playoffs, ask about this, ask about that. I was thinking, are you having a bit of a fangirl moment? He went, yes, now leave me alone. And I was like, brilliant. But just before we go into, that playoff where you scored the winning goal against Halifax at
Yeah.
the Walker Stadium, etc. When you first went to Hereford, did you knew straight away that this was going to be the club for me? I'm going to do my best for this club, and I'm going to give it all I got, and play for the club, etc.
Yeah, well, first of all, it's a great family club. They welcomed me with open arms. I knew straight away I'll be a first team player. And, go from facilities at Wolves, etc., down to a conference club at the time. It's a big difference. So I knew if I don't pull myself together now, I'm going to be playing park football or something. So, it got my head straight. Great people at the club. And we had a successful time, man. The first couple of seasons, we got the playoffs. Lost in the semi-finals of the playoffs both times. So, it was third time lucky.
Let's get down to that playoff. I saw the coverage of it, right? And what a goal you scored, though, for a winner. And I mean, you couldn't write that down. And you went, I mean, it was just funny. It was funny because I was watching it, and then all I seen was you just going absolutely nuts with all the players around you, and then you just took your top off, and you definitely go to the gym, and then all of a sudden you had a corner flag down. I'm thinking, is there going to be a riot? Is there going to be in Leicester? I mean, but man, tell me the story of the build up and that game itself against Halifax in the playoff final.
Yeah, so funny enough, Wilder, we've been talking about, he was the manager of Halifax at the time. So he's done a great job there with a tiny budget there, so he's done really well to get into the final. It was our second, after the first two seasons I was there, we got the semi-finals. This time, I thought this was going to be. So we got the final. Halifax, I think we ran 1-0 down, which was heartbreaking. And then we gradually got back to 2-2. Went to the playoffs, not the playoff side, the extra time. Tired, I was getting cramp everywhere, and for the goal, it's come to me. Left foot, you probably haven't seen much of my left foot. My left foot's shocking, especially for shooting. I'm a defender. So I just hit and hoped. My left foot, luckily for me, it's gone on top corner, so I'm on absolute berserk. You can see I don't score many goals. Everyone's jumping on me. I've chucked the corner flag. I got that from one of my old teammates, the Maury Fitzfire at Wolves. I don't know if you remember him. That's Newcastle Wolves. So I've gone absolute berserk. And enjoyed it. Probably the best moment for myself in my career, yeah.
With that, and especially, with Hereford, I mean, we know them now as Hereford Football Club now because, they've reformed and everything. But when it was Hereford, when you were at Hereford United, I know you...
Hereford United.
Yeah, when you were at Hereford United at the time, you had two spells with them before it became the Phoenix Club. During your time, I think it was your second time, during your second time at Hereford United, after you came back from Bristol Rovers, did you notice anything that something was not right with Hereford at the time, or did you just, didn't think the worst of it, just, hope for the best in terms of football?
Well, when I got to the club, first of all, the manager wasn't there. Basically, when I first went to the club, first 3 years, the chairman was the manager, Graham Turner. If you heard of him, ex-Wolves manager, Aston Villa.
Oh, yeah.
Brilliant guy. Absolutely fantastic. So, my second spell at Hereford, he went to just the chairman. He stepped away. Someone else took over the manager, Graham, John Truick. So things weren't the same. We're in League 2 then, so we're not a big club. So, we did well to survive the first 2 seasons. And then, unfortunately, the third season, we got relegated. And that's when Hereford United started to crumble. So, they went bust after a couple of years after that. Awful times. And then I think people took over the club, were trying to sell Edgar Street to put properties there, apparently so. So there's big protests and everything. So then we got the club back up and running, and
good
times from there.
Yeah. And it's amazing to see Hereford, because for Hereford, a lot of people don't realise that, you get a lot of... It's like with a lot of football clubs who are in the lower league tiers now, but you forget how big they are in terms of, fan following or history and everything like that. And I always said that Hereford had that, calibre of being a big club, despite the, you're not going to be your Man United or, your Man City's, etc. But they're a big club where they're based at, or sort of based around the area, and every time it's like for me as a fan, I mean, if my team had a friendly or a competition with Hereford, I'd be buzzing for it, because I know for a fact if I went there as a fan, I know for a fact the fans are going to give it all, because they sell out straight away, and the games are going to be superb. And I know majority of the players, like Callum Sainty, who plays for Barry, he went off to play for Hereford.
King as well.
Yeah. So it was just, brilliant to see Hereford, slowly climbing back up. And you were part of that as well, because when you came back third time, but it was Hereford FC, you were there and part of the squad that's, gotten promoted as champions, runners up. How was that third spell like for you at Hereford, because...
Yeah, so funny enough, even it was so low, Midland Premier League, so that's probably the 8th league down from Premier League. Some awful stadiums. We're taking like 1,000 people there, so you can see. And, a lot of the stadiums, probably equivalent of Welsh League One. So, yeah, the Goitres, stuff like that. So, 1,000 people there would be unbelievable. They're so passionate as well. So, probably one of my best seasons in my career, to be honest. When we got the Midlands Prem, we got to the Vars final, which was unbelievable. 20,000 people from Hereford went there. The place must have been nobody left. So unfortunately, we lost that. But we won the league, and we got the Vars final, and our first season back as Hereford. So reform of the club. It was brilliant, unbelievable season.
Do you know what you said about the 20,000 people? I bet it's like a newspaper article saying the last person to leave Hereford turned the light off.
Yeah, I'm sure the fees had a field day that day.
Yeah, imagine. I mean, it could be one of those funny moments. Someone driving from Wales or going to whatever, and they're driving through Hereford, and all of a sudden you go, "Why is it quiet? Where's everyone gone?"
It takes 40 minutes to get from one side of the Hereford to the other, when it should take 5. But but what a day, great day. Unfortunately, we lost. That was the top of the season, not brilliant. But we got to Wembley. A lot of them players would have never played at Wembley. Obviously, a lot of Premier League players don't play there. But it was a great occasion. All them fans as well. So never be forgotten.
With that in mind, before your time at your third spell at Hereford, you joined in 2012 for Port Talbot. I've always had a good relationship with the fans there, and they've always helped us out when we needed it, and vice versa. What was it like to play in the Welsh Premier League, especially for Port Talbot at that time?
I've come from Football League then, so it's a lot different for me. I've gone to part-time, then playing in front of 100 fans instead of like 2,500 fans was totally different. Pitches ain't as good. I know it's changed a little bit now because last season in the league, but the fans are big goals. But that was brilliant. Excellent, but the atmosphere is not going to be the same, is it? So totally different for me. Enjoyed the first season there. We got to the final of the playoffs. We lost last minute to Bala. So that was brilliant to get to Europe. So we won the beat. Bala got there. So and then second season, really underachieved. I think only a place or two above relegation, which is the team we had. We should have been, third, fourth. Without, underachieved. Our manager down, Scott Young at the time. And then, I thought it had a big time to leave then. So then I signed for Merthyr then.
What was it like playing for Merthyr then? Because, you were still in Wales, but obviously you were in the Southern Football League Southwest territory then. And you were made, captain because you led the victory to a promotion. So what was that? So what was that like playing for Merthyr during that time?
Steve Jenkins, fantastic manager. I've worked under him. He's been a manager and an assistant manager at Hereford. Brilliant. Got my love football back. Good passing game he played. Destroyed the league. I don't know if he won by 15 points clear, something like that. The previous season, Merthyr, I think they got the playoffs twice, maybe, before. So luckily, when I was there, we got promoted. Really easy, great team. And great memories there, good club, nice fan base, nice people, nice fit. It was brilliant there. But money wasn't the best there. That's the only problem. There's not much budget, so I'd love to stay there, but I got bills to pay, and I have to leave the next season. That's when I was going back from Hereford.
And the rest is history when you say with Hereford. I mean, three spells, and you just can't. You can't leave Hereford. You're there forever in some cases. It's like a Simpsons Mr. Burns moment. Like a sign saying, "Don't forget, you're here forever." But in a good way. But it's like, you got any funny stories? Any funny stories to tell? During your time at Hereford, any good, outer stories with the lads or anything like that at all?
With the lads, off the top of my head, I might have to come back to it. I'll have a think about it, but top of my head, no. I'll have to be for next chat, I think. I'll have a think about that one too. I'm sure there's plenty of stories for the seasons I've had. I don't remember. It's going to be going live, so I'll have to think carefully what to say.
Do you know what? Let's talk about Bristol Rovers for a minute. So I think it was after your first spell at Hereford, you signed on for Bristol Rovers, and you were there for roughly, I say 2 years, but you had a bit of success there because you were runners up at the Football League Trophy, and then you became playoff winners in 2007. What was your time like at Bristol Rovers? Was it a good time? Because you weren't technically far from Wales or Hereford or anything like that. So was it a comfortable time there at Bristol?
Yeah. So we got promoted with Hereford straight away the next day. Spoke to Lenny Lawrence, Paul Trollope. Lenny Lawrence was my manager for a short time at Cardiff City. And then from there, Paul Trollope, I played for Wales with him. Lovely fellas. So good offer. I had a few offers from other Football League clubs, but Bristol Rovers, 30, 40 minutes from Cardiff. Great club, good fans. Much better money offer than Hereford. And so Hereford only offered me £50 a week more, which, when you got bills to pay and stuff, it wasn't great. So Bristol Rovers made a good offer. So signed for them. Had that season, we're below mid-table, and we went for a late surge. Just for the end of the season, I think we had to win our last game of the season against the champions, Hartlepool. Last minute, somebody played me in on the right wing. I made an overlapping run. I've crossed far corner. Ricky Lambert just got above everybody, header into the corner. Fans are absolutely nuts. That's us into playoffs. So it was unreal because we didn't expect anything because we were like below mid-table. We were on a mad run. Teams above us were losing. We were on a great run. We had the momentum. That goal. As soon as that went in, I just thought, we're going to go to these playoffs and we're going to win. And I'm sure we'll talk about that in a minute. But brilliant. It's one of my, up there the top times. Hartlepool away, Ricky Lambert was my assist.
What was it like as a player at the time for Bristol Rovers then? Because he goes on to have a good career with Southampton, and he had a bit of a up and down moment with Liverpool, and he went on to play for England. But what was it like as a teammate at Bristol Rovers?
Lovely lad. Lambert was a great lad, not big-headed one, so he's a big friendly child. He's 6'3", strong, friendly child, excellent on the ball for a big lad. As you've seen, his striking ability is unreal as well. So good lad. A little bit weighty. I don't think he was cut for Liverpool the way they play. I don't think he was mobile enough. So I thought he's more suited to Southampton, and I don't know. He probably would have spoke some of that as well, maybe. But he's a great lad. I'm so happy for him, making it for England and the Premier League. So good to play with him. Good lad.
So following, coming towards the end of Bristol Rovers, I mean, a mate of mine asked. He said, mention the Swindon match, and I was going, what's he talking about? A Swindon match? And I had to mention it, and it was like. Said you had an injury, like a broken jaw, Achilles tendon over. It was called a volatile Swindon match. Could you elaborate on that particular game? Because I haven't got a clue. My mate said, if you ask this, I'll give you a 10. I was thinking, oh, okay, fair enough. I mean, I ask questions all the time, and sometimes when it comes to research, sometimes I don't go into research a lot. I just want to know offhand and go, oh, right, and it
Okay.
just makes the podcast or the conversations more interesting. So can you tell us what happened at that match, and what went down?
Yeah. Well, to be honest, mate, it wasn't after a match. I think it was after a night out. I bumped my jaw.
Oh, is
I was
it?
out. Yeah. Like I said, I went out too much during my career. Possibly could have been a championship player through my career, maybe lower Premier League, but nightclub was a big part of my life. After a game, I went to London actually, Faces nightclub Essex. Had a great night. Went outside, bag of chips. Next thing I know, I'm in an ambulance. I've been hit from the back, from the back of me, smacked me in the side of the jaw. Next thing I know, I'm in an ambulance. In the mirror, my face is like about 4 inches wider, if that's possible, as wide enough as it is. So, ambulance. Then I had to tell my manager and coach and stuff that I'd been out after he said on the Saturday, don't go out. I did the shoot thing, went out, and on the Tuesday, obviously, because I had a broken jaw, so I was out for a couple of weeks of that, until it went down. It wasn't bad, the broken jaw, it was quite a minor one, but I was out for a couple of weeks, but one in the good books of Paul Trollope then, obviously.
Yeah, it sounds like a good night out in Cardiff Queen Street or something like that,
Yeah.
on Chippy Lane, something.
I know, yeah, you're only watching them things, not happening to yourself, but yeah, it happened to me. It's taught me a lesson not to get too drunk.
Yeah.
So to be aware, not aware, drunk, and then someone smash you on the side, you'd be, I had a headache for a good few days after stroke.
Was that the hangover?
Yeah, hot both. Yeah.
Oh. No, but you haven't left Hereford technically, because I know you left Hereford FC. You got on to play for, is it Westfield? You're currently at Westfield FC now, is that right?
Yeah, I'm at Westfield now. It's a team in Hereford, 8th or 9th league down. So played there last season. We won the league by 14 points, and then with the academic and stuff, unfortunately the season got voided, which is unbelievable because every league is doing something different, like the Premier League and Championships playing on. League 1 and 2, I think they're going to the playoffs today, and we're going to automatically relegated. And then for us, it was void season, which was unbelievable. So absolutely gutted, but I think I'm going to play another year. I'm 40 next year, so I'll have at least another season, see how the legs are, pick each year as it comes on. So yeah, so I think I'll be staying at Westfield. I have a meeting with the manager next week or the week after, sort it out, and hopefully we can get a season up and running soon. It's talked about September, starting up again. So that'll be brilliant, mate.
So it's another thing as well. It's you're part of a football family because your brother Clayton, he currently plays for my team, Barry Town.
Yeah.
So how would you describe him as a footballer compared to you then?
Well, we're different players. He's a midfielder. I'm a defender. So we like to get stuck in. Both similar height and build, so very strong build. He's doing really well. He's blossomed into a really good player. If you asked me 3 years ago, would he be good enough for the conference, maybe League 2, I'd say no. If you ask me now, I'd say yeah. I'd say he's worth a chance now. So, you've got a good player there. Barry, you've blossomed into a good player, so the coaches have worked on him. And, he's looking good.
What about at the gym now? Who's better?
I'm much better than Jim. You wouldn't have a chance. All I'm getting, it's always his hairline. You got a good hairline. I haven't, no.
I probably wouldn't survive a minute, It's like, funny enough, I go to the gym and I was speaking to Jordan Cottrell, and this is going back a few months ago, but I think it was before the pandemic, and he was saying to me, the likes of yourself and Clayton, gym goers, I wouldn't last a minute. I can't last 10 minutes on the treadmill, so and I'm trying to get my fitness back into shape, so
yeah.
But
I'll do the same as you, I think, mate, after this lockdown.
Oh, mate, I'd be hanging afterwards. I probably need a stretcher to come out. I'm like, I'm fine. I just need a stretcher,
Yeah.
But
you get into a routine, you'll be there, man.
Yeah. So,
Yeah.
last question here. No, actually, no, last two questions here. How would you sum up your time at Hereford?
Hereford has been absolutely unbelievable to me. You on about Hereford United and FC?
Both,
Hereford
yeah. Let's
City?
just. I always say Hereford because with Hereford FC and Hereford United, I'd say no. It's still one club. They still got the fans. They
It's
still
still
got the
one club,
ground.
same stadium, isn't it?
Yeah.
Been brilliant, mate, from start to finish, for the highs and the lows. You know, I've had promotions, relegations. They've always been brilliant to me. As long as you put 100% in, which I always have, they'll appreciate you. So I've got nothing but respect for the city, the people, the place. So I've got fond memories there. I've mentioned this, I'm doing a little bit of coaching, one-to-one coaching, two-to-one or small groups at the moment. So that's going really well. And you know, I've tried to get my wife to move up there this year and I haven't none of it. But I don't think I'll ever stop going to Hereford. It's a brilliant place. Great memories and it's in my heart, definitely.
And last question here now is: how do you sum up your career as a footballer? Then, right?
As a footballer, I'd say start my career. I've let myself down. We talked about the nightclubbing and stuff. I should have just concentrated on football, but you know I can't complain. I've had a hell of a life. Been brilliant. I probably got my attitude right after Port Albert, probably at Merthyr. So I've been lucky enough to prolong my career. You know, most footballers finish when they're 35. I'm nearly 40. So, you know, I've had a good innings in football. I've totally enjoyed it. You know, I had a little bit of regrets. I probably shouldn't have to work again with what the ability I had, but, you know, I have. But I've totally enjoyed it. It's been brilliant.
Well, Ryan, thank you for taking the time to come on the Dragon's Voice podcast. It really means a lot for you to, you know, it doesn't matter if we could try and do it. I remember having the conversation with you, you know, it doesn't matter if it's Zoom, WhatsApp, Skype, whatever, you know, we can always try and do our best. But again, thank you for taking the time to come on the show.
Okay, thanks very much for having me.
All right, thank you so much, guys.
Cheers, mate. Thanks a lot.
Thank you.
Go on, mate. Okay.
And that was Ryan Green on the Dragon's Voice podcast. And I want to say a big thank you to Mr. Green for coming on the show and talking about his career playing for Wales, Hereford, and vice versa. You know, it's always a pleasure to have anyone on the show, whether you play for a Premier League side, non-league side, international level, Welsh League level. It doesn't matter whether you're a fan or not. It doesn't matter. And I've got 10 episodes in the bag already. I want to say a big thank you to every single one of those people who have come on the show and to make this podcast happen. So Ryan, thank you so much. And I want you to come on again and talk more about some of the good times at Hereford and your time playing for all those clubs and playing for Wales as well. So Ryan, thank you so much. I want to say a big thank you to my fiance, Emily Halford, who lent me her phone so I could do the recording. I could record the phone call with Ryan. Without her and without her support, I couldn't have done this. And I just want to say a big thank you to her and a big say I love you to her as well. So guys, thank you for tuning in to the Dragon's Voice podcast. I've been your host, Trudy Rees Deans, and I'll see you all very soon. Take care.